Digital guest, I'm not really sure what Leslie is showing you. Leslie is still kind of new at filming. Wendy's not here. It's not a pigeon.
It's a pigeon in
Leslie,
the wild, Steve.
Leslie, it's not a pigeon. That's a sign.
A pigeon.
Leslie.
Oh, I need more work at this, don't I?
You do, actually. But, guys, hey, welcome to Zoo Adventures. We're always here with you Mondays and Wednesdays. This episode is taped. We're behind the scenes at Red Wolf. We're going on the habitat, and we're going to get through this gate. The two names that were being mentioned. What?
So, Steve,
What?
no pigeons?
No pigeons, red wolves.
Oh, pigeon.
Pigeon is one of the red wolves. Flint is the other. They're not out right now. We're going to go through this gate and find Keeper Alexis. She's going to go out and do some really cool stuff. See if we can sneak in the gate.
Exciting.
How cool is that? We got through the gate.
I've never been here before.
And I'm not sure they know that we're here. We're inside the red wolf habitat. Just like we did the brown bear once, and we did polar bear that one time. This is so exciting. We kind of got into the whole habitat. And maybe they do know that we're here because here's Keeper Alexis over here.
Okay, maybe. We told you.
Coming in to talk about red wolves with you, Keeper Alexis. Is that okay?
Yeah, I guess so. There's no wolves in here right now, so you're safe.
Sweet. No wolves. And we knew that, guys. We want to make sure you guys understand completely. Having a little bit of fun. Keeper Alexis, thank you so much for letting us come on to the red wolf habitat. That is true, guys. We are actually on the habitat. The donation button, I don't think a donation button is up. We want to make sure we say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's doing great today at your Zoo Adventures. We're in this amazing habitat, and Alexis, Leslie is with us today, not Wendy. Leslie is actually helping us tape today, and she almost got hit by these massive, here's one over here. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. These are falling from the sky. That would hurt if it hit you.
That's a big one.
You ever been hit by one of these?
I have in the hand, and it bruised me.
Did it really?
It did.
Good gracious. Okay, let's give it back to the wolves.
I thought you were going to make a joke that I was going to be hit by a branch, and then I was like, no, I'm too short for that.
You go under all of them,
Yeah.
which is nice, which is cool.
You do have to duck around in here, so watch your head.
You do have to
when
duck around. When I came in, I was like, holy cow. But this is really cool. And one of the things that's kind of neat for us to be out here and to share is how big these spaces really are sometimes. I don't think people realize when you're looking at it. Can you show them kind of the path, the where they're looking from, Leslie?
That small little section.
That little window is all you've got to look through. But the space is much larger than that. It's really kind of neat, and it's awesome to be inside the habitat to share that kind of information with our digital guests. So we truly appreciate you guys letting us come on Habitat. One, to set up Enrichment. How cool is that? Did you hear about that, Leslie? We're setting up Enrichment today.
I heard.
How
I'm
cool.
very excited.
How neat. Inside the Red Wolf space. All right, Alexis, what are you doing today, and why are you doing it?
So I will throw out that reminder that red wolves are a recovery species. So
Okay.
we do still provide them with enrichment, but we keep it more as natural as possible. So something that they would potentially encounter in the wild.
Okay.
Is similar anyway.
Very cool.
So I have some mice today and a little bit of salmon oil in this cup here.
Salmon
It
oil.
looks like olive oil.
Yeah, a little bit. So
But it's salmon oil. God,
Okay.
you can't tell the difference?
Maybe I could smell it, right? Smell the difference? Does it
yes,
smell
it's
different?
very fishy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of
That's why she has a mask on.
Yeah, thankfully. It's kind of two different types of enrichment.
Okay.
So this is kind of just like a snack. It's a scavenging thing that will hide around the exhibit, and they can go around and try to find it with their sense of smell.
Okay.
The salmon oil is the same, but it's a little bit more of a sensory, like a scent marking. So
Oh.
you might catch one of the wolves potentially rolling in it or
Okay.
urinating on it, and that's kind of to cover up that scent.
And you're going to let them come out while we're watching today,
Yeah,
right?
so we'll put all this
That's so
out,
cool.
exit the
Nice.
habitat safely,
Oh.
and then we
Yeah.
will let the wolves back on.
I guess we don't want to be out here and that's going on.
Yeah.
That would not be the best place in the world. Leslie's back there shaking her head. Nope, don't want to do that either.
Yeah, which these guys are, they can potentially be dangerous, but they're very elusive and very scared of us. So even if they were out here, they'd most likely stay far away from us.
Gotcha, very good. Well, let's make this happen.
All right.
We should mention that we also have another pair of eyes on the habitat. You gotta have we'd have Keeper Chris here. So Keeper Chris's mom, Keeper Chris is here with us. We don't have to show Keeper Chris. Keeper Chris said he don't be on the phone thing. But we want to make sure that Keeper Chris's mom knew that we're thinking about her as well.
Yes. All right.
All right, so where are we going?
If you can help me find some good hiding spots, I've already put
Oh, yeah.
one. up
Look at
here.
this. Look at this. Look at this. A rock, too.
And
Look at
there's
that.
also an enrichment from another day. This is one of our bison horns that fell off, which is it's the outer shell that they can lose.
Yep.
So we'll use that as enrichment. And I put one of the mice up here. Flint, our male wolf, likes to get up on this rock a lot. So
Cool.
people who come visit may have seen him sleeping up here throughout the day.
Where's another really cool place?
Let's see.
We want to put it where people can see, too,
I
right?
put one up on this big rock here.
He'll get up there?
Yeah, they can stand up, and as long as they can find it, they can smell it. But that's what the salmon oil helps with a lot.
Oh, okay.
And then
That's a
we'll put
pretty
some-
tall rock.
We'll put some down a little lower for the old lady.
If you remember me, guy, I'm a little over 6 feet tall. That's a pretty tall. He's got to get up there for that one. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And I see a little bit of salmon oil there. Can we move that log here and maybe kind of put it
Yeah.
under the log?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah, sure. I'll put the mouse down, you hide it.
I'm gonna hide it.
Right there.
I'm gonna hide it kind of like
This is
this.
the first time we've been able to actually participate in putting enrichment out.
How's that?
I'm gonna put some salmon
Yeah.
on there. Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. Nice shot, Leslie. That is neat.
All right, you got
So
two
they're
more
there.
mice.
Two
I
more
can hide some
mice.
in this pine straw.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Have to dig around a little bit.
So we're going to put it in the pine straw, guys. Look at this. Oh, you covered it all the way up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I left my mouse out a little bit. Well, you don't see anything there. They're going to find that, really?
Hopefully, yeah. That's the goal.
Hopefully.
I mean, that's about what they're doing out in the wild. You
That's
know.
a great point, actually. They've got to
And a
use
lot
that
of
sense of
times
smell.
They'll actually cache their food if they
Oh,
have an
really?
abundance. So they will actually bury their food to hide it and then come back for it later.
So it's another caching animal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's kind of fun to share this with everybody. We've learned about caching. That wasn't part of today's presentation, but you used it. So caching, when you hide your food, you hunt and hunt and hunt and you catch too much. You can never have too much, but you've got more than you're going to eat in the moment. They'll cache it. They'll bury it. Do you guys remember the other animals that cached their food? Digital guests? We've heard about two so far. One cold, one hot. What Arctic animal caches its food? It's not the polar bear. It's the Arctic fox. Remember how they had to dig through the ice to get to some of their food? They're hiding the food. The other was the sand cat. So very, very cold, very, very hot. And then this guy, more temperate, so it happens everywhere.
But it is another canid, so it is.
Ah, great point. Neat. She said it's another canid, another type of dog, type of animal. All right, a couple more here. I wonder, I was trying to think of a place to put it on.
Yeah. Lots of rocks and trees. Yeah.
What about
that's a
that?
good spot.
What about that?
Oh, balancing act.
You can do it, Keeper Alexis.
I think it's gonna fall.
No, it's not.
All right.
No, it's not.
And then we'll check them and put
Keeper Chris, can you just hold that until we... No? Keeper Chris is saying no, he can't hold it, which is fair.
And I'll just trickle this around.
All right, let's...
Go out. How about
I guess
that?
we should too, and
Make a
that's
little
all our
trail.
critters. Can you put some in this pile of mulchy sand or mulchy stuff on the rock? And they like to just kind of... We've
they'll
seen...
sniff around. It's almost kind of like I said, that kind of scavenging. It's like trailing something. So they'll smell the little spots to try to find the food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enrichment. And again, enrichment is we're trying to encourage the animals to do some of the types of things they would be doing in the wild, some of their natural behaviors. Anything we can do to encourage that. So the foraging in this instance, the using sense of smell, the tracking, all of those are behaviors that you would like to encourage them to do in this amazingly wonderful habitat for the red wolves. On the tree?
Give them a little height diversity.
And again, if you're just now tuning in, that's salmon oil that Keeper Alexis is putting on the trees. And we have strategically hidden some mice in the habitat. And since this episode is taped, which is really exciting, it kind of gives us a neat opportunity to do a before, and we get to do an after in a little bit. And you guys get to see the red wolves being let out into this space, looking for the enrichment. So cool. So tell us a little bit about the space before we leave. Tell us a little about the space. Why is it kind of designed the way it is?
So it provides them with a lot of different things that they would have in their wild habitat.
Okay.
They've got a nice forested area. They've got some rocky areas. We do have a pond down there for them. There's normally a little pool here that's filled that they actually like to get in when it's really hot, and they'll kick out of there. But it gives them, levels. They can climb up on the rocks, and there's a den also over here. You can see the little dark hole.
I was about to ask that. Yeah, I was like, what about this?
Yeah, so that's their den. So we will put straw in there to help out in the wintertime and keep them warm. But they do like to go into small enclosed spaces.
Sure.
If they were, whelping or just,
If they were wedding?
Whelping.
Whelping?
So,
What is whelping?
Whelping's when they have puppies.
Oh,
Yeah.
who knew? No, you know.
No, I was
Whelping.
What's that too?
Whelping. I say whelp when I'm not really sure what I'm saying next. Well, that's about it. Well, that's it for
There's
Red
your
Wolf.
vocabulary word for the day.
It is. It's a great science word, whelping. I'm assuming it's W-H-E-L-P?
Yes. Yes.
So that's cool, whelping. Nice.
Yeah.
And then I see there's other spaces. Do they dig out some of these holes on their own?
Check this out. So they
Come on
have,
here, guys. It's
here's
cool.
a pretty big hole that they've dug.
They dug this?
Oh yeah.
Where are you going? You going this way?
Either way, this is a deeper one. It's
Oh,
kinda
wow.
older, so,
Holy cow.
and then this one over here is fresh. You can tell because the dirt's nice and
Oh, neat.
dry.
Leslie, come look at this one.
And this is likely a nap spot, is what I would call it. So they'll dig around and make a nice little indentation, and then they'll lay down in there. So it's a cozy little spot.
It's a nap.
Here's a
spot.
bone. Somebody must have
Uh-oh.
been napping and snacking.
Oh, napping
here.
and snacking.
The best parent.
That sounds like a weekend trip right there. I like it.
Yeah.
Why would they dig though, like down to nap? What's the purpose of?
It either cool or warm, or to be warm. Actually, either way. So in the summer, if they dig down, it's a cool spot to lay in the
neat.
dirt.
Okay.
And then the same thing in the winter. If they dig down low and they get in the hole, it keeps them warmer. It's
Okay.
almost like insulating for them.
Okay, might like a windbreak too and all kinds of stuff. Leslie, you want to get in this hole? You want to take a nap?
I've been tripping over like half the holes since we were walking. It's been very hazardous videoing you all today.
Well, you've done an
Lester
amazing
actually
job.
had to stop me a little bit ago, and I was like, thank you.
How'd it work?
Yeah.
All right, well, now I'm camouflaged.
Yeah,
Can you
can
guys see
definitely
me?
tell it's designed for a wolf and not.
Yes, not a human. Which is the goal, right?
Yes.
The goal is this is their habitat. It's their home. It's their space.
Yeah.
So it should be designed for them, not for us.
And they're
That makes
well
perfect
adapted
sense.
for all environments. I mean, they lived all across the southeast, so they've experienced all the seasons, and they get that here. So they get the leaves and the snow, and the
Gotcha.
hot summer sun, all the different environments. Yeah.
Our mouse fell.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Chris,
say
you
la
were
vie.
supposed to.
All right. Well, we'll let it stay there. They'll find it. That'll be an easy catch, I guess.
Yeah.
He's still got two to look. He's got to work on two of them.
Yep.
He's got to work on the one you hid and the one that you let me put underneath the log.
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, digital guests, are you ready? All right. We're going to go out. I'm glad to see that, guys. That's awesome. So we're going to go out front, and you're going to. Are you going to let the wolves out? Or are you going to be with us? Don't know yet.
Chris is going to let him out.
Chris is going to let them out.
With you.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
you'll be with us. Can you kind of narrate the behavior?
Sure. And you're going to be meeting two wolves,
Two.
Flint and Pigeon.
Okay.
Flint's our 5-year-old male, and
Okay.
Pigeon is our 15-year-old female.
Oh,
And
she's
we'll
a little
point
older.
them out when we see them, but
Okay.
you'll be able to tell the difference.
Very cool. All right, guys. You guys ready to see this? I guess we need to go out the main gates here, the back gates toward the back. All right, guys. Let's go check this out. This is so cool.
There they are. I just saw one run by.
Who let the wolves out?
Chris.
Oh, I get it. Song. Nice.
See, there he is.
Oh,
He's been
look.
walking by.
Somebody's getting one. Keeper Alexis will be in a second. Look at him looking for the food. This is the one I put out, Leslie. This is the one I put out. Can he get it? Can he find it? Oh, look. He found it. I should have hit it better.
I was gonna say, didn't even move the log.
I didn't. I must have hit it. I didn't hide it nearly well enough.
I know.
Drat.
So it looks like.
Oh, hey, Alexis.
Hello.
I see you, Keeper Alexis. You did.
looks
You're
like-
like a wolf.
It looks like Pigeon's in the lead. She's finding all
So
the
this
mice
is Pigeon
first.
right here that came up. She got the one under the log. I didn't hide it very well,
Oh,
Alexis.
that's okay. We still got a few more she's got to find.
Okay. I was like, Flint's like, what is there so much
Yeah.
going on in
Flint's
here right
much
now?
younger and he's a lot more energetic, so he's
Well, I
getting
know
his
that
energy
feeling.
out first.
I know that feeling. So this is Flint to the left. Flint looks a little redder, maybe?
Yeah, so he's taller and lankier. He's redder.
Okay.
She's a little more short, stout, and she's grayed out quite a bit.
Okay.
She's very old, so 15 years is
Old. That's very old for a red wolf?
Yeah.
She tends to not run like Flint does.
Yeah, she still gets around pretty well, but she doesn't run quite as much as
That's kind of what I feel like. You get to that point where I'm not going to run. I don't need to run. I'm good. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
So this is neat. So 15, I think I heard you say Pigeon's 15 and Flint's 5, did you say?
Yeah, so they're what we would call a companion pair.
Okay.
She's past breeding age, so they're really just buddies. You know, they
Okay,
hang out.
cool.
So.
Like roommates.
Yeah, and they'll typically be with a mate in the wild, so we like to, give them a buddy to hang out with.
Oh, that's cool. So again, one of those, the care and wellness things we're looking at, we know their behavior, understand how they survive. So we know that they're usually paired up. They're usually kind of hanging out together. So it's nice to be able to pair them up here. Even if it's not going to produce offspring, it's nice to look at that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Nice. We wouldn't want to put like 8 wolves out there. They're not big pack animals like that. You don't want to be silent. They don't want to be by
They can be
themselves.
if it's a family group. So
Okay.
if Flint and Pigeon were a breeding pair and they had puppies, they would stay together for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And they can have up to 8 puppies.
8?
Yeah. So we had a pair this year that had 5. So that's
Wait. Say it again. Say it to the camera this time. What did we have this year?
5 puppies.
That is so exciting.
7 total. 5 in one and 2 in another.
We had 5 and 2. We had 7 puppies here at the zoo.
That's right.
We'll talk about the importance of that in a few minutes. That is so exciting.
Yeah, so you may see a pack, up
That
to
would be
10.
because the
Yeah,
kids.
but they'd all likely be related to each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, this episode is taped. We are at Red Wolf. This is Keeper Alexis. Oh. And again, that's Flint. He's like, oh, I saw something. So if you weren't here at the very beginning, Keeper Alexis and Keeper Chris let Leslie and I go out on the habitat, and we placed some enrichment out there. Keeper Alexis was putting some salmon oil throughout the space, and that kind of gets them smelling and sniffing around, and some mice, so that foraging, they're hunting, looking for their food.
He's getting their curious.
So in these 2, this is Flint. Oh, he found yours. Oh, but he said, you know what? I'm not ready to work on it yet. So we buried some mice. We hid some mice. Some are kind of out in the open. The more reddish one, that's kind of doing the more moving around, that's Flint. He's 5-year-old male. And the other one, she's a little grayer. She's a little older, 15-year-old Pigeon. This is really cool. And it was neat to kind of help today to go out there and at least be there when you were putting the enrichment out. So thank you so much for that really cool opportunity. And they're kind of looking in the back. I said there might be some noises back there.
So this is
some
kind
other
of
keepers.
showing that kind of elusive behavior. Like there's 2 other keepers here today down there working on with the grizzly bear. So they likely can hear. I mean, they're great sense of hearing and sight, smell, everything. So they can probably sense that they're down there doing something or a little cautious. So that's why they keep looking in that direction. And once that settles down, I'm sure they'll go right back to looking for the food.
Gotcha. That's cool.
And that's why you're, very unlikely to see them, especially with so few in the wild, is because they can hear you coming long before you get there.
Well said. Well, let's talk about that for a second while they're still kind of checking things out and getting used to being back out, because they just came out, guys. Of course, they couldn't be out while we were working on the habitat. I say that like I'm a keeper now, like when we were working on the habitat. When we were out on the space, the wolves couldn't be out there, so they're kind of still being used to getting out. You mentioned there's not very many of them left. There's really not.
Yeah.
Like 25-ish?
Less than that, yeah.
Yeah, in their wild homes, only about 25 left. So think about a quarter. Think about maybe your pre-COVID classrooms. You might have had 25 people in your classroom. That's it. A quarter. That's it. You have, most of us have 10 fingers, 10 toes, and 5 more. That's it. 25-ish. A little more than 2 dozen eggs. I'm all those small, I want you to see how small of a number that is. But there's a small, can we say silver lining? Because you mentioned earlier we had 7 pups born at the zoo. About how many red wolves do we have total at the zoo?
Right now we have about 25.
So we have the same number of red wolves at the zoo as it might be in the wild. And how many total animals-ish are we going to see that are kind of that are under human care?
There's over 200, so about 230, 240 right now.
So over 200, we'll say 240. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 240 animals under human care across Flint settling in.
Oh, there's the
little scent marking. You mentioned he would do that, actually. You said he would do that. Nice job, Keeper Alexis. And those animals that are under human care are really important. What's going on with those guys? Why is that population of animals so important?
So because there's so few in the wild, the genetic diversity is depleting. So in human care, we're trying to help with this breeding program to really build up the genetic diversity of the species.
Okay.
And hopefully in the future we'll be able to provide that out into the wild to help them.
Gotcha. Yeah. And there's a program, we've learned about this program a little bit. Our digital guests have learned about the SSP, the Species Survival Plan or Species Survival Program. And one of its main jobs is putting those distantly related animals together. We always tease, it's like eHarmony or Tinder or whatever's being used today. I have no idea what's being used today. But even in that, you're putting compatible people together. There's these charts and everything. But you answer all these questions about who you are.
Yeah.
And it puts compatible people together. And in the SSP program, you're looking at putting compatible animals together.
Right.
I think that's so neat. And we're lucky in that, if I'm not mistaken, we don't want things to go a little crazy. Keeper Chris is important in that.
That's right. He is.
Isn't he the SSP guy?
He's top dog in the red wolf world in the SSP.
Hey-o! Who doesn't love a pun?
Wait a minute. That's my line, and I didn't even think about it.
He's gonna hate me for saying that too.
Well, he's not here to defend himself, is he?
We did not.
He was doing his job over there, letting the wolves out. He doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know.
He's behind me, isn't he?
Yes. But we won't say it out loud. Shh. We won't go there.
No, but he is. He's the Red Wolf
right.
SSP coordinator. So he leads those meetings. I've been very fortunate to be able to attend and learn and watch, and it's really neat. It really is a matchmaking and a lot of collaboration between a lot of different facilities and organizations, and it's a really cool thing.
Pigeon checking things out. I don't know if you know this answer. Do you know how many? We're gonna get upstaged by a wolf here, I think.
Sorry.
There's a mouse in front of her.
Oh,
She's gonna get that mouse.
She's gonna get it.
She's not so sure.
Oh, my finger, sorry.
Come on up, Pigeon. It's okay. She wants it, though, doesn't she? She knows it's there, doesn't she? Oh.
Not yet.
Not quite sure about that one yet. But that's exactly the behavior you would expect to see.
Yeah.
There's humans out here. Even though she's one of our amazing, let's call her an ambassador animal here at the zoo. Helping us tell the story of the red wolves. She's still a red wolf, so she's going to be a little bit shy. I think that works. And I have no idea what we were talking about a second ago. Well, that's what we were just talking about, right?
I think you were going to ask me how many facilities.
Facilities, that's right. Do you know that?
I believe there's 42 right now, and
42?
there's a few more coming on board. That's part of Chris's job, is to help find more homes for these guys.
Which is really important, right?
Yes.
Because and this is Flint. Flint's like, whatever.
Oh. Chomp.
Flint's like, yeah, what? I'm here. You're
Got
human.
him.
You're humans, but I know I can handle this. Oh, this is going to be fun. Can he find it? Scent market first? Dude, it's yours. You picked it up, you dropped it, and you run away.
But he needs everyone to know it's his.
It's his. It is his. He's marked it well. So 42 right now, you said ish. And are all those places breeding sites, or some of them places where you put wolves like these two?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. It's
okay.
Some of them are breeding pairs, some of them are companion pairs, some are sibling
nice.
pairs.
Okay.
We have that all here too. We also have a few that are alone that eventually will likely get paired.
Nice.
So.
Okay, cool. And that's neat to think that there's actually 25 wolves. You said 25 total wolves here in North Carolina Zoo. The two here, the two ambassador animals, the two animals from the population that people can see. And then behind the scenes, we do have that breeding population. And that's, guys, that is truly behind the scenes. I haven't seen those wolves. I've been here a long time. Because they're off habitat in order to be part of that breeding population. Let's look at this population, these two, and the ones that are in the breeding habitat. Are they treated I don't know how to say that. It's a weird question because the care is amazing no matter what we're doing. Do these guys get, Flint's looking again. Look at you. I'm going to dig in here. I'm going to find it. I'm going to get this one. I got it. This one I'm going to eat. The other one I'm going to leave. Stay there. It's like mouse chewing gum. Did you hear the bugle?
I did.
Did you
It's one of my favorite sounds.
Yes, did you hear the elk bugle? I don't know if you did or not. It's kind of off in the distance. So these guys that are out on habitat, that our guests can see, and the wolves behind, is there difference between the two in the way you guys care for them?
So I wouldn't say there's much of a difference in the way that we care for them.
Okay.
More so in their behavior.
Okay.
Because Flint and pigeon are visible to the guests in their habitat, they've become a little bit more accustomed to people being around. Whereas all of our off display animals are a lot more elusive, I should say.
Okay.
They're not used to people at all. So we spend as little amount of time as we can down there when we service their areas, or in and out. And so they're not quite as comfortable as Flint is right now, coming up and getting that mouse. Like you saw earlier with pigeon, they do still have some of that.
Yeah. Oh, there
Look
it is.
at him.
That's great.
Good job, bud. But
That's fun.
Yeah, so they do still have that, innate behavior of being a little fearful, but the wolves in our off display area are much more elusive.
And part of that reason I'm assuming is that because you want the breeding behavior, you want the continued breeding going on with the animals that are off habitat, that are off view. Mm-hmm. That is so neat. And we were lucky enough this year again to come back to that. We had 7 pups. We had 2 sets of litters. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned earlier, we'll go back to Chris's role. Chris's job now, I'm assuming, would be, okay, we have these pups. They need to be placed. And I'm either going to pair them with maybe a breeding pair later on, or at least put them in a location where they can prosper and thrive.
Yeah, and that'll change every year. So they'll stay where they are right now for at least a year, maybe 2.
Oh, okay.
We still have our puppies from 2 years ago here. So it just depends on how high they are and in the ranking of genetics and all that stuff.
That makes great sense, actually, because if you have an animal out there who's done some breeding, then that animal is very well represented.
Correct.
If you guys didn't catch the phrase, she said that genetic diversity, increasing how different they are genetically. So you don't want brother and sister breeding. You don't want mother and brother, mother and son breeding, things like that. You want to have these disparate, more distantly related animals breeding. Oh, great shot! Look at that.
You try not to move too fast, guys.
That's worth it though on that one. He climbed up on the rock.
I think they might have gotten them all.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And the only other thing that you did was
pigeon in the back, right?
That's pigeon in the back.
That kind of shows he's being sneaky. He was
waiting.
waiting till we weren't looking.
That is so neat. And it seems like, again, with the salmon oil who you put out, he was definitely kind of there. He was sniffing it, checking it. Oh, and look at there, I found a mouse too. So finding out that neat, awesome behaviors. Well, let's talk a little bit about red wolves, because we can see them. They're out and about, kind of running around. They are often confused with the coyote or the coyote.
Yeah.
Can you help our digital guests kind of get the idea of what the difference is?
Sure. And, I have to admit, they do look very similar
They
a lot
sure
of the
do.
time. So it's, from a distance it would be hard, but what to look for really is the size difference a lot of the times. Red wolves are kind of in the middle. They're bigger than a coyote, smaller than a gray wolf.
Okay.
They're much taller. You see how tall and lanky
legs, really
Flint's
long and skinny.
legs are. And then that red coat. Pigeon's a little grayed out, so she actually has
older.
more of a...
I understand that gray.
the coloration of a coyote, but still the big ears are another good sign. They have those big, tall ears.
And you can really see the red. I don't know if Leslie can show you guys at all with the camera. You can see the leg. You can see the red kind of on the back of the legs, and sometimes the back of the ears too. You're going to really get to see. He's peeking around the rock. Hi. That is wonderful.
He kept looking at us from that side to see if we were here.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, he's kind of peeking out over there.
What's in there? Can you find it? More stuff to check out.
That's a good view to see those real tall legs, though.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
So, and actually something that U.S. Fish and Wildlife has done out in the area where they are in the wild in North Carolina is they're collaring red wolves with bright orange collars.
Oh, they're putting collars on them.
Yeah, so
neat.
they do radio telemetry and they track them.
Okay.
But the orange collar is very distinctive for people who hunt in the area.
That makes sense.
To help them identify the red wolves over the coyotes. So that's a
right.
huge thing. If you're ever out in that area hunting, don't shoot it if it has a red or orange collar.
Orange collar. Because this is a critically endangered. You guys have heard the phrase all the time. We've heard endangered species, endangered species. This is literally, they're classified as critically endangered because the population is so low.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, only about 25 left out there. Real quick reminder, if you guys are tuning in now, this was a taped episode, but if you have those questions, type them in there because I know that Wendy and I are there answering questions. Leslie might be answering questions. Who knows who is behind the scenes answering questions? But go ahead and ask those questions away so we're able to answer your questions for you during this episode on red wolves. So come back, you said they're kind of in the middle, a little smaller than a gray, a little bigger than a coyote. Pack life. You mentioned earlier that if there's a family group, they might get a little bit bigger. But in what way are they different in that pack life than let's say, a gray wolf?
So they, like the unrelated wolves are less likely to be in a pack together.
Oh, just period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have their own areas where they live with their family groups. And they will typically, if they are, have a good mate, they'll mate for life with that same animal.
Wow, okay.
So they'll stick with them,
Cool.
Year after year, if they're having success and they're, living well together.
Right, yeah.
They'll have those family groups, and then after like about 2 years, the puppies will move on and get their area, and then they'll continue in their region. So. And
found only in North Carolina in the wild.
Yes, right now. Historically, they were all the way up to Pennsylvania and down to Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But right now, the only wild population of red wolves is found on the east coast of North Carolina.
That is so neat. In a little tiny spot. And it's kind of an area in there, about 5 counties big, Dare and a few others down that way. Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge.
Yes.
Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. That's right?
That sounds right.
It's right now. But check out how small that is on a map, guys. It's little. So those of you looking at school, there's your map project. Pull out a map of North Carolina. Find Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. The 5 counties around it. That's the only place in the world that you can find the American red wolf. Amazing to think that that's small.
In the wild.
In the wild, yeah. Because we learned from Keeper Alexis, there's about 40 other locations, plus or minus, that have red wolves in their population. So neat. That's so cool. You guys want to go hear what a red wolf sounds like? We're going to cheat a little bit. We can hear what a red wolf sounds like. Come here, let me show you. Check this out.
Yeah.
This is something you guys can see here at the North Carolina Zoo, and you can do it when it's working. We don't have many guests. Remember, the zoo is open, but it's still on timed tickets. Only a certain number of tickets are being sold every day. About 3,000 guests allowed right now. Wild relations. These are different types of wolves. This is the one most of us are familiar with. What's going to happen? Is it going to work?
I hope so.
Is it going to work?
That's what I think of when I think of wolf.
Didn't last very long. Coyote. No more screechy.
Not as fun.
Not as fun. And then the red wolf.
It's a great Halloween sound.
Speaking of Halloween, October, Wolf Awareness Month.
Awesome.
How about that? So October is Wolf Awareness Month. Let's do the red wolf one more time. Oh, here's a map. Can you show them the map, Leslie? Would you mind? So here's United States. There's this little tiny spot. The only place in the world you can see them in the wild. And I say see them, there's only 25 of them, so the chances of seeing them isn't really great. But that's it right there. Those 5 counties in that area, and they sound like this.
It is very ghost-like.
It is, it's eerie. So
it's like
cool.
beautiful and scary at the same time.
That's a great way to say it. That's a great way to say it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed meeting the red wolves. I think you, Leslie, enjoyed being out on habitat.
Yes.
How much fun was it to spread some of the enrichment out?
I told Wendy I told you earlier, I was like, Wendy missed out on a good one.
Yeah, we got to go out on there, and we actually got to participate in putting some of the enrichment out this time, which is really cool. Met Keeper Alexis, kind of met Keeper Chris, our SSP coordinator for the red wolves, so an important job. And to go along again with what Keeper Alexis is doing, making sure all the care and wellness being taken care of. We had a blast bringing you the red wolves once again from North Carolina Zoo. Thank you for tuning in. It's always awesome to see you guys. Hope you're staying safe. I know it's getting tough. It's been going on for so long, hasn't it? But we're getting there, guys. There's that light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to make it. We're going to make it because we're following directions and we're staying safe. Remember, the North Carolina Zoo is open. Time tickets, order them early and online. Y'all stay safe. We'll see you again. Zoo EDventures, Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. Leslie behind the camera today. Steve in front. We'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.